All right, so there is fallout over the Jeffrey Epstein files to talk about. President Trump says the whole thing is a hoax. His own supporters are some of the loudest voices in the room asking the files be released, and for that, President Trump is slamming those supporters. So a Justice Department review of the case found Epstein did not have a client list, even though...
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, man, I've been trying to wait until there's like more coming out about this because it seems like this cat and mouse game, the hamster wheel. And I don't like talking about that there's no definitives, right? But God bless America, man. I hope y'all are seeing what I'm seeing. So essentially, you know, it's kind of come out. The Wall Street Journal led with a story. And I don't know how you can fact check this stuff. This is the problem. This is what mainstream media did to themselves, right? But I want people to just be free thinkers. That's what I advocate for. If you are a diehard Trumper, still open your mind to the option that it could go south. And if you absolutely hate Trump, be open to the option that it's not what they're saying it is, right? So that's where I try to position myself. I saw someone in my last video about Trump in the comments. They said, when you're in the middle ground, you're a coward. That's what they said. They said, choose sides. And in the Bible, it says that as well. It says, if you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. Either be hot or cold. And I understand why people would feel that way. And I'm not going to argue that. What I would say is the wisdom comes from the middle. And then you can choose the proper side with the wisdom obtained, right? So you need to see things from the whole playing field. If I chose a side, I'm seeing it from the right side. If I chose a side, I'm seeing it from the left side. If I chose the middle, I can see the whole playing field and try to assess which side is going to be more advantageous to me in the future, right? That's how I look at it. However, if you want to call me a coward, if God's going to spit me out of his mouth, you know, it is what it is at this point. Because I remember that my mom would always tell me that, you know, you're either hot or cold for God. You better pick right now, boy. You can't be lukewarm. So I get it. I get where people get these ideals. Now,
have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
This might sound weird, but I'm actually so glad this has happened because I think this will force their hand into releasing the Epstein files. The thing is that Biden had these files for 4 years. I've said this 50 times. I think there's a third party that has the full unredacted list, and the reason why they're not using it on each other is because it would be mutually assured destruction. And if part of the list gets leaked and it is redacted, then that third party will release the full list and it will damage both of them. Dude, if they don't release them after this and they don't explain this, everybody is going to think Trump was actually on the island with like the underage girls and everything. Guarantee that that's happening. It's a guarantee people are going to feel that way.
Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, but before you judge me, know this. Yes, I was on the sex island, but only for the snorkeling. I didn't know anything about the kid stuff.
The Wall Street Journal has come out and basically said that Pam Bondi went to like pull the list, or she did pull the list and then reported back to Trump. And how they got this info, I don't know, but reported back to Trump like, hey, you're on the list. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people are on that list. Some of your favorite rappers, performers are on that list. When you start thinking of the Diddy stuff, there was a gang of people. When you go back and watch all the people who've been to a Diddy party, there was a few people who were like, nah, this is how it was. Diddy had these parties where everyone went to. But then there was the after dark shit. That was the freak offs. That was the crazy shit. You know, again, I'm not here to argue for these elite people, man, and billionaires doing stupid shit, man. Straight up. There's a lot of people tied to this, you know, because the one thing that got Bill Gates in so much trouble, Bill Gates was still rocking with Epstein after he had been convicted. So it's just like there's all these players in the game, and to act like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But what I will say is this also with the Wall Street Journal and all these publications and news outlets covering this now, the thing they did, they ruined their reputation by trying to take Trump out his first term and when he was running for the second term before he actually got his second term. It was like the Russia collusion lie, the this, the that. There were so many things that they propelled as propaganda and absolute lies. Now I'm hearing this. I'm like, oh shit, he's on the list. That's kind of wild. I knew they hung out. I saw, bro, this is the thing too. That's what kept me away. Like, if you guys, I'm just trying to come on here and be honest, you guys. So, I've come out here and I've told people I don't hate Trump. I'm just neutral, right? But there are certain things that I'd be like, bro, if I found out he was doing some things, with underagers in that, I'd be like, God bless America. That's crazy, dog. I can't rock with that type of shit. But if I'm being absolutely honest, I was gaslit, okay? Like, 2020 came. There's a side of us who had a voice, and we're saying certain things about the pandemic, about a bunch of things, and we just got muted. We got suppressed by the left. And then, Biden comes in and they ramp things up. And I got gaslit with the mandates, the this, the that, a bunch of different things, the way our country went in that last 4 years. And, on paper, there was nothing going to stop me from voting for Donald Trump in the next election. What was it? The 2024 election? Because I was like, F those MFers. I was holding on to certain things, having to eat outside like a dog in Hawaii because I didn't get the thing. I didn't have the card. So I couldn't go on tour anymore, shutting down my industry, throwing concerts. I was just like, I thought that the right was more realistic in that, like, the red states and the red areas were the places staying open and had my best interest in mind. So that's when I started to lean to the right. Also, I have traditional values and all this nonsense, a man can't be a man and a woman can't be a woman. And, a dude with biological male parts is running against or swimming against females. I'm just not rocking with that. And a lot of certain ideologies of the left. So I lean a certain way, but now this is a wake up call, right? Because I was always raised simple. And you guys can say what you want. And again, I'm not, saying anyone's guilty of anything, but my mom always told me, you're the company you keep, practice what you preach, and you are what you eat. Yeah, that's kind of a motto. I was like, damn, that's some real and I'm not perfect. So it is what it is. But all this stuff is crazy. I wanted to play this clip because I started watching this. And again, yesterday I was watching Fox. I'm going to pull up everything. I don't mind watching Fox, CBS, MBS, whatever, NBS, CNN, fake news, like whatever. Most of it's fake anyway and propaganda driven. But there's some things that we got to just keep it real, dog. Let's just keep it real for 1 second. Let's watch this.
In February, President Trump's own attorney general, who we just saw, they're getting off board that boat in the San Francisco Bay to go to Alcatraz. Pam Bondi said that the client list was on her desk. Well, she now walks that back, saying she was referring to the case files and not the list. Here's how the president...
She knew what she's doing. That's a lie. Like, I don't even care if this is fake news. Like, they know their base, you guys. Stop. I have mad friends in MAGA, yo. And then when I go visit, man, stop, bro. Stop lying, dog. All the MAGA people can jump in here and tag in. When these MFs came out, we got the list, that, and the other. If you say that you didn't think they were about to deliver the Epstein list, that's cope. That's cope and that's cap. This is what y'all fought for, man. Like, this is what I liked about Trump. I thought, I'm going to drain the swamp, and I'm not a part of this nonsense, and I'm the outsider. And to a degree, he is the outsider. Politically, he is an outsider, but he's more of an insider than I thought from some of the things I'm starting to see. And people could get mad at me for saying that. Hopefully, you don't get blinded by certain things. Again, people roast me when I say this. The only thing, in my opinion, that Kamala Harris could do better than Donald Trump is not go to the island. I don't think she went to the islands. I don't think she's on the list. That's the only thing she did better than Trump. And some people be like, well, that's enough to, get my vote. And I'm like, yeah, this is getting crazy. This is getting to some murky waters, y'all. Now, again, I'm not saying he's on that list, but these things are starting to look peculiar, man. And he did it to himself at this point. It is what it is. We're going to see.
Pushed back when asked about that controversy.
I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been...
Dude, I can't listen to this. That's a fucking lie, bro. The first time I ever heard of Lolita Express and all the Ep Stizzle shit was Alex Jones, one of your biggest advocates in 2015 or whenever that was. Stop it, dog. Stop it, dog. Alex Jones is not a Democrat at all, bro. So that's crazy. That is crazy, dog. You want to? Oh, let's go back. Y'all got to keep it real with me. The MAGA folks got to keep it real on this one. We got to keep it a buck because I know. Hold on. Let's listen to this.
She was referring to the case files and not the list. Here's how the president pushed back when asked about that controversy.
I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
So hold on. Let's just talk about that real quick. This is not a Democratic hoax. Okay, one, Jeffrey Epstein's been convicted. They know there's an island. Ghislaine Maxwell is literally in jail. So for him to say it is a hoax is absolutely horrendous. And it's just straight up lies. Now, how you take him saying it a hoax, there's some little waters. You could be like, no, he meant it as this, that, and the other. But that's an absolute lie. Now, the murkiest part of this, in my opinion, is the Republicans, the right pushed this. Before right now, this is a underground MAGA thing, all the way to the cultiest part of QAnon, saying that the Democratic Party is literally child molesters, and it's the Democratic Party is the trafficking party of files. That was the rhetoric from the right, from the cultiest part, the QAnon folks, to a lot of parts of the right. They're like, yo, it all really started popping off with the Hillary shit, man. You see, this is what people don't understand. This fool was talking about Hillary, lock her up. Oh, these files got deleted. And then it goes on to Bill Clinton. And then, bro, and this is what, so all this is doing, in my opinion, is this is just implicating both parties. See, this is, in my opinion, why the right, why MAGA wanted the Epstein files, because they wanted proof that the Democratic Party was a bunch of pedos. They wanted proof that the Democratic Party was full of pedos. And now they're about to F around and find out that both parties have pedos, including the royalty all over the world. The princes, the kings, the emperors, the sultans. That's what's crazy about this stuff. Like when they talk about girls going to Dubai, now this ain't no like child trafficking stuff, but some of the stuff those sultans and oil sheiks do, the stories of the stuff they do to women that they pay, they'll just pay them $50,000, $100,000. And let's just say this, camels are involved, poop is involved, all types of crazy stuff, you guys. So there's some weird shit when you get to a certain level of power, it would seem like that people just want to flex. So again, everything I'm saying is not to give no one a pass. I want accountability on all sides. And again, I'm not going to say a man is guilty until proven, you know, but Trump is making this worse on himself. That's all I'm saying. Because he's to say, hey, we're going to release all these files and then not do it. You know, if you're a part of his base and you're not stirred up a little bit or just questioning it, I know you got to go hard for your guy. I get it. I get it. Because I ain't going to lie, my back was put against the wall in 2020. You know, if I'm being real, I actually don't want to talk about the emotions I have towards the Democratic Party, where I was misled in some places because it leads to a place of anger, deception, and hate. And people don't understand that on the left. And, you know, they are like your friends, your family, stuff like that. And they don't understand when you stand on certain values, principles, etc. They don't understand how far they can push you away. So there's still a lot of, internal things that I'm dealing with in that aspect. So now I try to disassociate and disconnect from emotions and feelings and just vote what is going to be advantageous for my life, my family's life, my future, blah, blah, blah. And I don't believe Kamala Harris had the answers for me. However, we're sitting here in the middle of more what seems to be controversy. And anyways, I don't know how much of this I want to play because I'm not trying to ingest too much fake news, but there's a lot going on. And I'm kind of taking it from the news. There's a lot of different takes out there.
The files regarding Jeffrey Epstein's investigation and prosecution. It's important that we protect the names of the victims. They should be excluded from any disclosure. But whether or not the facts justify charges, I think that
I don't understand this. Maybe I'm tripping. Protect the name of the victims. You couldn't protect them when they were children. Now you want to protect them. I don't know. I guess if the victims wanted to come out and speak, they should be able to. But I guess protecting them would protect them from getting taken out, which the thing is, the people who know what they did know who the victims are, so they can take them out anyway. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the protection would be to let people know who the victims are in a sense, because then I don't know. I don't know that answer. Do you guys see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say, hey, call them out. I'm just saying, like, are they truly protected? People doing this type of heinous stuff know who they are and just take them out. And a lot of people have just been passing away. You know, oh, that person took themselves out too. It gets kind of, this is some murky water. This is really crazy. Anyways, I think it's interesting that Trump is pushing back on it so far. And I think it's splitting some things. But again, you got to read the room. And I just felt like he could have played his cards better on many different aspects on this. Because you got to remember, and folks, right now I'm talking to the hardcore right, the hardcore Trumpers. Because I believe a lot of the same things you guys believe. Like in the put America first, make America great again. Like we can make this place the land of opportunity again. We could build, we could do all these things. All these ideas that come from MAGA, I appreciate greatly. The problem is people need to be held accountable, even if they're your leader. It's just the truth. Can't say you're going to do all these things and then not do them and then start calling your base bullshit, a-holes and stuff like that. That's just crazy to me. It's crazy. And again, it's not the Democratic Party pushing this. They literally just started pushing it now because he said they're pushing it. Have you guys noticed that? The Democrats didn't give a F about the Epstein stuff. They're really not, bro. When did you hear Biden, Kamala, their administration ever say nothing? Bro, they're about the rainbow community, bro. They don't care about the Epstein stuff, dog. They don't give a f. And it's a huge part of the right-wing base that, really prompted the Sound of Freedom movie. And there's this literal ideology of fighting for children and ending these operations of missing children and all this stuff that come from the right side. That's one of the things I gravitate to, that heroism of saving children and protecting them. And not saying there's not people on the left that want to do that, but the right is so out loud about it. So to know that was going on at some capacity, and then your guy is supposed to like, hey, help unlock that, because that's a lot of, dude, I can't tell you how many MAGA messages I get where it's just like, no, Trump is going to he's going to end these trafficking rings and save all these children, and look, he just saved all these children. That's a thing. That's an undertone with more of the culty ones. So I just think, it fractures a big part of his base, and this is going to be this is going to be trouble for the primaries, and might be trouble for 2028. So we're going to see. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Again, I'm just kind of spitballing. I'm trying not to get too wrapped into some of this nonsense, because that's what it is. It really is a distractor, and I know I got to lead by example in my day-to-day life and just try to be a better person in general. But damn, there's a lot of interesting things going on, and I don't know how to take it. But I will get on my platform and just keep it a buck. You know, I don't know the severity of what has been done, or, you know, what it means to be on that list. But some of the things being done outright right now, it doesn't look good, in my opinion. So I can't sit here and clown, you know, certain things and then be like, yeah, this is why I voted for Trump, da 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 da, and not be able to take the public criticisms that would come with potentially him falling off because of decisions he potentially did or didn't make. So it kind of is what it is. It's a political theater, and that's also why I didn't get wrapped up in it as that crazy. Y'all never saw me put on a MAGA hat. You never seen me go too crazy. I just said what I thought and why I was doing things I was going to do. I do not back down on that. I'm not going to be I'm seeing all these content creators who hate Donald Trump roasting, you know, the big podcasters and comedians that had him on and stuff like that. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I regret anything. I'm be like, yo, when I had a choice, this was the choice I made, and this was in my best interest. Now I'm finding out things behind the scenes, which I haven't even found out yet, you know, but I'm just putting it out there that I'm not going to be on some like bitch made roller derby, start, you know, rolling backwards on some shit. I'm be like, no, I still feel, bro, with what I went through 2020. Anyways, I'm not going to go there with it, because that's still something I got to deal with internally. How I feel towards the left side hand of thing, the left. But I have a lot of friends who are on the left that I, you know, love and respect, and they're not a leftist. They're not like this, you know, radical leftist. And so like trying to, you know, open my mind and heart and just being open with humans in general and hear what they have to say. Also, the more I travel, the more I'm like, yikes, America was different. America's really fallen off, y'all. And if you don't travel, like, you'll see places that are just horrid too, you know. But when you start going to other countries, you're like, golly, what are we doing in America right now, man? Like, that's why I'm like, yeah, we do need to make America great again. And if a politician is not saying we need to kind of turn things around, I get a little nervous. Anyways, you guys let me know what I got, what I missed. Do you think he's on the list? If he is, what do you think that implies? You know, how do you feel about that? Holla at your boy, man. I ain't tripping. I mean, I am tripping. That's why I'm talking about it. But I'd like to hear what y'all have to say, and I'm not tripping on what you got to say. All right.
City boy, city boy.